Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you all so much for joining me on tonight on this amazing and blessed Monday night. God is so amazing. So I'm just so grateful to be alive on tonight and be healthy. And I pray that you and your family are doing well. I pray you and your family are healthy. Hello on YouTube. Thank you so much, Billy, for joining us on tonight. Share the broadcast. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about having a healthy soul on tonight. But first, before we get started, I just want to say thank you again for following us, joining us. Please share this out if you need someone, know someone who needs a little encouragement on tonight. Please feel free to share this. We would love for you to be a part of the Bougie Girl family. So if this is your first time joining us, my name is Miranda. I am the creator of Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, and bougie is a redefinition of a word that's probably been frequently used, especially within the past couple of years. But God has given me the mandate to redefine this word to mean something uplifting and encouraging to women who maybe dealing with some low self-esteem, because I battled with that for years, having low self-worth, low self-esteem, not valuing who God created me to be, and just not loving myself. And so on tonight, if you don't know, the acronym for Bougie stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. And so I believe that we as women of God, we as bougie girls, we the bougie squad, we are all of those things. We encompass all of those things because God said that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in his image. We are unique. We are one of a kind. We have our own DNA. We have our own fingerprints. So we are just special people. And I want to encourage every woman who watches the replay, who is watching me on tonight, that you are amazing. You are awesome. You are beautiful. You are one of a kind. You are bougie. You are just all of that. And so I want to thank you all so much for joining me on tonight. But I want to talk a little bit on tonight about having a healthy soul. A lot of times, and I talk a lot about purpose. We're talking about purpose, we're talking about discovering who God has created us to be. Who did God create us to be? And tonight, I'm talking about the 7 keys of being content. And so when you have a healthy soul, you're able to be content. You're able to walk into all of what God has for you. And I want to talk about that on tonight because purpose is so important. We were created for purpose. We were created on purpose, for a purpose. God has a mission and a mandate for all of us. We're not just here by happenstance. God created us for a particular reason, for a season of our lives. We are here to bring forth what He has designed us to bring forth. Our particular design, DNA, our gifts, our callings, our talents, everything that we embody is why God created us. It's our purpose. So purpose to me is so important because I believe I discovered my purpose later on in life. I didn't grow up, with my parents just saying, what, I see this in Miranda, so we're going to push this out of her. This was something that I had to discover on my own, and then something that I also had to rediscover after my divorce, because, sometimes as mothers, as women, for me, I lost myself in my marriage, in my family, because I was so focused on my children, so focused on being a good wife. I didn't really focus on myself. I didn't focus on, okay, I need to know what my purpose is. My purpose was not just to be a wife. It was not just to be a mother. God had created me for more than that. And so I had to pretty much in my 40s rediscover my purpose, reinvent the wheel per se. God had already invented me, right? But I didn't know why I was here because everything that I had attached my identity to was gone. The marital status, the MRS was gone. So it's like, okay, so who am I without the missus? Who am I without this lifestyle? Who am I without these things? And I had to really go back and rediscover that and figure it out. Like, okay, why am I here? Why am I on this earth? I know I'm not just here to raise my children. I know because once they leave home, what am I going to do then? So while I'm still young and in my right mind and, having a desire to do more, what should I be doing? And so it's so important before we get to that place that our soul is healthy. It's important that our soul is intact. And if you don't know what your so first of all, I want to talk about being content. Why do we need to be content? It's so important to just have peace in our minds, in order to be able to move forward in our life, to make those moves that we need to make. So it says, it does not matter what is going on around you. It does not matter what you don't have or what you do have, or the people that are in your life, if you're married or single or whatever. You are able to live a life of peace, to trust God that you are where you are supposed to be, and that you are at peace and not desperate for people or things. You know, don't become desperate for things that, maybe God has not even placed in your path. We become so thirsty for being married, or so thirsty for having this type of career or whatever, we lose sight of the bigger picture. We lose sight of happiness. We lose sight of the peace that God has for us, because we're so desperate for other things. We're just on this hamster wheel, right? Going and going and going. And we're not really seeing the bigger picture and not really enjoying the journey, because we're just so busy trying to get it, right? Trying to get our hustle on. But we must have a healthy soul in order to get to that next step, because if we're not healthy overall as a whole, we're not going to be successful in that purpose, where it's not going to be lasting. So your soul consists of your will and your mind and your emotions. So your all of these things encompass your soul. It is the essence of who you are as a person. So who you are as a person consists of your soul. Your identity is not based on tangible things like, oh, okay, I have this kind of car, I live in this type of neighborhood, I have these type of accrement or uh, accoutrements or whatever. It's not about the material things. It's not about what you thought you were supposed to have, right? But it's about your essence and who you are. You're not identified by those things that you have attained throughout life, but who are you without all of those things, right? What makes you you? So when your soul is healthy, you are able to exist and be content with even if there's nobody else around, even if you don't have the friends that you want, or your family might be at a distance, in this social distancing, in this COVID world that we're living in right now, you're able to be whole. You're able to be an individual. You're able to be the woman or the man of God that he has created you to be. And I want you to reference Philippians 4:12. It says, I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether I be well fed, or if I'm hungry, or if I'm in want. If I have plenty, I know what it is to be content. So in every situation, I want to encourage you on tonight, Philippians 4:12, to be content in your life, content in what God has for you, your mind. So I said the soul was made up of your mind, your will, and your emotions. So your mind, if you're taking notes, or if you want to jot down some things that I'm saying that might be helpful to go back into reference later on, your mind's job is to analyze data and to, you know, the data that you absorb every day, right? And with your circumstances, your situations, and different things like that. This is when you're analyzing the data, you're choosing, you're making choices, you're making decisions, whether they're big decisions, small decisions, whatever those decisions may be, your mind is your chooser. It's not just your brain, but it's the process that's going through the brain. Yes, we all have free will, right? We're like, oh, I have free will, I can do what I want. You know, our free will means that we're unhindered. There's no limits on us, right? But we do, but there are some natural laws and some natural limitations that is on our will. There's some natural limitations, like we can't do certain things because of law, because of gravity or whatever. You say, oh, well, I have free will, I can jump off this building and I'm a fly. But no, there's natural laws and limitations, right? So it's not going to happen. So, there are some boundaries in our will and in our mind. And the word says in Proverbs 16:33, we make our decisions, but God determines what happens. A lot of times, there's still some limits, right? We are sitting here and saying, oh, okay, well, I'm going to make a decision to do this, this, and this. But if it's outside of God's will, if it's outside of God's purpose for you, it may happen, but it may not be successful. It may not go the way you want it to go. It may not go in a happy and exciting way. It may not be fulfilling. You still may have that emptiness inside of you because that's not God's purpose for you. So again, we all have decisions, but God makes the final determination of what happens according to Proverbs 16 and 33. So, as followers of Christ, we must understand that our will, like every other living thing, like every other creature, there are limits. So, we have to understand that and understand that even though we have free will, there's still some limits, especially as followers of Christ. His will is a boundary beyond which our wills are unable to pass. So, again, His will is a boundary beyond which our wills are unable to pass. That's what we mean when we say God is sovereign. So, we serve a sovereign God, and He has the final say, of course. In the end of it all, He has the final say. Also, our emotions, our soul is encompasses our emotions. Your emotions are part of your feelings: love, peace, anger, joy, fear, all of those emotional things that happen in your body. Those are a part of your soul as well. God designed your emotions to be a blessing to you. They can be a warning sign, like, okay, I'm feeling this type of way because something's going on, like some fear might pop up because you're in danger or something like that. Or, you get angry because there's injustices going on in the world. You have peace because, God has given you peace, and there's peace around you. You're surrounding yourself with peaceful things. You have love in your life. So our emotions are for a reason. They can dominate us sometimes. That's why I mentioned fear. Sometimes our fear can dominate us. And that's why we have to gain control of those things. They are a blessing to us because they're kind of like an indicator, right, of what is going on in our lives: the anxiety, the depression, the happiness, the joy, the frustration. So they're kind of like an indicator, and they're meant to help us, especially when it comes to our illnesses in our body, because sometimes illnesses can fester in our body because of our emotions if we don't take control of them and put them in the proper perspective. So instead of winging it in life and just saying whatever, I'm just going to do what I feel. You're pretty much, you can't live like that because your emotions are fickle, right? They change from today and tomorrow. Today I might be happy and joyful, and tomorrow I might be depressed and sad. So you can't base your decisions on your emotions. Like, for example, you get angry at your spouse. I want a divorce. I want to get out of here. I don't like what's happening. I'm not happy with you right now. You don't want to base that, because then tomorrow you can be like, oh, I love you so much. I'm this, that, and the other. You can't base, again, your decisions, your life on your emotions. So we have to keep all of these things in check. It's your responsibility as a Christian to be a good steward over your having a healthy soul, because it's your responsibility. Because again, take control of your will and your emotions and your mind. So I want to talk to you about 7 ways of obtaining and making sure you have a healthy soul. So I hope you're enjoying this on tonight. If you know someone who needs to hear this, and if you know someone that needs to be encouraged by this, please feel free to share it with someone, encourage someone, take some notes and share this with someone, and pray over these things. Because if you're kind of out of balance, you're out of touch with certain things, your emotions are all over the place, your mind is not stable or settled, and different things like that, it's a great thing to be able to share this information. So I'm talking about tonight having a healthy soul. And how to be content in that process of having a healthy soul and being content in your life. So be honest with yourself. Number one about having a healthy soul and being content is being honest. Um, we have to be truthful about how we're feeling. Again, those emotions, right? That's part of your soul. We have to be honest about our emotions. How are we feeling today? How are you really feeling? I always come back to emotions and feelings and our thoughts, because as a counselor, um, that's really important for us to be able to understand other people and to support them in their journey of healing. Is in order for you to be healed, right, you have to be honest and admit that you're going through something, that you're frustrated, that you're angry, that you're fearful, or you're sad. There's nothing wrong with admitting these emotions. Again, God gave us these emotions, right? So it's good to be honest about them because they're there whether we want to admit it or not. You can address an issue if you will not admit that you have an issue. We are not perfect, so we all are a work in progress, right? So throughout life, we have many influences and we become tied to others and therefore create a dependency on others rather than being confident in who we are as individuals. So I have a question, ask yourself this: are there are there some things or some people that you do not want to let go of because without them you feel inadequate or incomplete? Are there some people in your life, some people or some things? Be honest about it. Think about it. Is there somebody in my life that I'm holding on to? I don't want to let them go. I know they're not right for me. I know they're not healthy for me, but I want to keep this person in my life because without them, I don't feel whole. Without them, I don't feel adequate. That's really something you really need to examine and let go and let God, because God did not create us to be dependent on other people for our completion. He is the only one that can make us complete. Our creator is the only one that can make us complete. So really be honest with yourself and ask yourself that question about who are you dependent on? What are you dependent on? Are there some dependencies, some codependency things that you have going in your life? Number two, let go. Be willing again to let go of that person. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be frustrating. Self reflect. What are some things that's weighing you down? Maybe it's your past. In order to move forward, you have to let go of the baggage of the past that hurt you, the shame, the bitterness. I had to let go of the shame of my divorce. In the beginning, I didn't even want to say I was divorced because it was so embarrassing to me. I didn't even want to say I was single because that made me feel like a failure. It made me feel a certain type of way. I was embarrassed. So I had to let go of that baggage in order for me to move forward. God can't use me in my purpose if I'm holding on to shame. So shame is a hindrance. It's a weight that can hold us back. It's a stronghold that will keep us bound to the things that God does not want us handcuffed to the past and the shame and the insecurities, the rejection, and those things like that. They don't define you. My divorce does not define me, and the hurt and the things that you've gone through in your past do not define you. They are what you have been through, not who you are. Don't allow the past to hinder your future. And here's a question that you can ask yourself. I should have put these questions up on the screen, you guys, but I'm going to say it slow. So if you're writing it down, um, here is a question. What are you holding on to that you know you need to let go of? Again, who are those people, those things? Are you involved in toxic relationships? Are you involved with toxic people? And it doesn't have to be a man-woman relationship. It can be a friendship that's toxic, someone that's kind of like being negative in your life and is just always saying something, degrading or not encouraging to you. Are you hanging around people that are negative? Again, these people, it doesn't have to be a man-woman relationship. Are you scared to step out and start something new because of fear? So again, let go of the fear, let go of the anxiety, let go of the people that's weighing you down, and step out on faith. It's not saying that fear is not there, but you're not letting it hinder you. You're not letting it handcuff you. You're not letting it hold you back. And you're not being held hostage to fear. That is an emotion that will come up, but you're not being held hostage to it. And you're not letting it handicap you. And you're not living by it, because God did not give us a spirit of fear. You need to immediately cast down that emotion and say, you know what? God did not give me the spirit of fear, but of love, peace, and a sound mind. Again, our minds have to be resolute and stable in order for us to carry out the purpose that God has for us. And so again, about having a healthy soul. Again, your mind, your will, and your emotions have to be intact in order to move forward. So number three, if you're taking notes, trust God in this process. Trust God in everything that you're doing, because again, He is your creator. He created you for purpose and on purpose. So trust Him. Trust Him with the process, even when things are stagnant, even when things are not like going the way that you think they should go. there's some roadblocks, right? You're thinking it's going to go from A to B to C. It might go from A to F to G to L to P. And you're like, Lord, I'm all over the place. But, sometimes He takes us on these detours again for our safety and our protection. Again, because He sees the warning signs ahead. We don't see everything. Or it's because, He's trying to teach us something. What is He trying to teach you? What is He trying to work out of you still that you still have going on? Do you still have anger issues? Are you bitter? Are you jealous? Are you not a good saver? Are you not a good steward? What kind of manager will you be over what God has what He has given you to care over, right? If He's given you the opportunity to be a manager over people, how are you going to treat these people? Are you going to treat them with disrespect and attitude, or are you going to treat them with love and concern and care? And that's what God wants to see. If He sees that you still have a little bit of anger in you, some jealousy, some contentment, some frustration, He might be like, well, no, I'm going to go ahead and take you over here because I'm going to let you work this out before I give you charge over other people. I don't think it's okay for you to be in charge of my people with this bad attitude. Um, so it's really important to make sure that you're understanding the journey. You may not like the journey, but ask God, what are you trying to show me on this road? You took me on the side road. What am I doing over here? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to get out of me? I know Billy was saying, Billy, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. It's not a relationship with a man, right? Or is just your relationship with God. I couldn't really read that, y'all, but I'm gonna read it. It says it's not a relationship with a man. Um, and it says as it is, as much as it is with your family members, I need to let go of, right? So she's saying it's not necessarily with a man, but it's with family members. She needs to let go of the family members. She needs to work on her relationship with her family members, letting them go, toxic family members. That is so important that, we have toxic family members and we don't want to admit that. We don't want to say, oh, my sister is toxic to me, or my brother or my mother is toxic to me, right? And it's unfortunate sometimes, and it's sad and it's hurtful and it's heartbreaking to know that we have family members that are not supportive, that are not loving, that are not caring. But again, like Billy said, we have to continue to love them, right? But you can love them from a distance. You may not go to every family function. You may not invite them over your house as much. You may not hang out with them as much as you were doing before. But you know what? I love you. You can still love people without having to be in their face all the time, right? God did not call us to hate. He called us to love. Love them through their hurt. Love them through the whatever they're dealing with. Love them through that, right? Because again, we don't know what they're going through. Your family member may be going through something. And so sometimes if we don't know the story, sometimes we do know the story, they just mean and evil, right? Or they're just unsupportive and negative. But sometimes there might be instances where we might need to dig a little deeper as well. What's going on with my family member? I hope they're okay. Is everything right with you? It's nothing wrong with digging a little deeper to find out what is going on behind the scenes and why they're acting this way. Where does this jealousy coming from? Maybe it's a conversation that needs to be had because, you know, there's some insecurities that they need to work out. Maybe your kindness and your love can draw them to Christ. There's so many different things that could be happening in a person's life that you don't know. So we can't always judge them, but we must trust the process, right? We must trust God. We must trust Him in what we're dealing with. Self-reflect. Only He can fill that empty space in your life. When there's void and there's emptiness, when that person leaves your life and you decide to let go of that toxic relationship, God will fill that void. Have you noticed that even after you've got a promotion or married to the man of your dreams, or you started that business, you still feel empty? You're making the six figures, right? You're driving the car, you got the new furniture, you lost the weight, but you're still feeling empty. God can fill that emptiness if you just trust Him and release, give it over to Him. And I commission you to ask yourself this question: do you trust God to be your everything? Why or why not? That's something that you can ponder on. If you're taking notes, write this down. Do you trust God to be your everything? Why or why not? Really reflect on that. And if you don't trust Him to be your everything, be honest with God in prayer and say, Lord, I don't trust you because this happened over here. I trust you because of this. But there's so many people that don't want to admit that they don't trust God, that they're angry at God for whatever. And God, honestly, He knows. You know what I'm saying? You're not hiding anything from Him. He does actually know how you're feeling. So be honest with Him in this time of becoming healthy and being content in your life in order to discover your purpose. And so the next thing I want to share with you is be intentional. I always talk about as bougie girls, the I in bougie means intentional. We are intentional as women and men of God to do what we are required to do. That I believe that, again, not living by happenstance, not living all willy nilly and free spirited all the time, where it's like we just go based off of our emotions, right? So we have to be intentional. You know what? I don't feel like it today, but I'm going to go work out for 30 minutes. I don't want to, but you have to be intentional if you want to see results. I don't want to eat healthy. I don't want to eat a smoothie today, y'all. I used to drink green smoothies all the time. And then after a while, I was like, I'm so sick of these things. I don't want to drink them no more, but I have to be intentional about the things that I do, place in my body, intentional about what I watch on TV, intentional about the books that I read, the music that I listen to, the people that I decide to communicate with and, connect myself to. I have to be intentional about those things, and you have to be as well, because um, if you're not, you're going to find yourself going backwards. We just talked about being in that toxic relationship, right? So here we go again. You're being entangled, with someone who is not good for you. You're getting caught up, right? You're getting out of you're getting off track. You're getting hemmed up, like they say. So you don't want to get hemmed up. You don't want to get entangled. You don't want to get caught up. You don't want a toxic soul tie. And now you have to do this work of healing and letting go, because it hurts to release this person from your body, right? When we have soul ties, we have to detox. Have you ever detoxed, cleansing your body? Sometimes it can be very uncomfortable. It can be even painful. It can be rigorous work on your body, and it's a process. It's the same way with the soul tie. You're detoxing. You're letting that person out of your system, and this can be a stressful situation for you. It can be work. It can be rigorous on you. It can be time consuming. I mean, it's just a lot that goes into it, right? So we have to be intentional about the moves that we make. So again, self reflect, make up your mind that you want to be better. Just make it up in your mind. I'm going to be better. I'm going to move forward. I know it's 2020. I know but you guys, we're in month 10, right? We've made it this far in this COVID pandemic world. What a blessing to be able to just, for me to be here, for you to be watching me, for us to just be here on this earth and healthy, because there's so many people going through, and it's just a blessing to be here. And then out of all of it, let's be intentional. Let's get it. Let's do what we need to do to move forward. You have everything you need inside of you to live the life God has created you to live. Be intentional about discovering your purpose and seeing your dreams come to pass. Don't just be satisfied with the status quo. Want more for your life and say, I want more. God died for me to have an abundant life, not a mediocre life, not one of just barely getting by, desperation, scraping by. I mentioned last week that we need to thrive, not just live. We need to thrive. We need to prosper. We need to accelerate. We need to level up, right? So let's not just live. Let's thrive. Let's move forward with intentionality. And I want you to ask yourself this question about your purpose. What is your purpose? Do you know what that is? I'm listening to a book right now by Miles Monroe talking about pursuing your purpose. And it's such an amazing read. If you're not reading a book right now, you need to get busy. You got 3 months before the year's over to say, I read a book or two. I love Audible. It's a great resource. But and so when I'm busy around the house or cleaning up, I'm able to listen to the book and still get information out of it. I can sit down and rewind it. I still like the paper books because I like to highlight. I like to make notes. I love paper. Still a paper pencil person. I like Post-its. Y'all, I'm a poster queen. I got posters right here. Posters be everywhere. But what are you reading right now to help you discover your purpose, to help you to walk in the fullness of who God has called you to be? What has God placed you on this earth for? What are your passions, your dreams, your desires? What do you love to do? And I was just thinking about that. I really enjoy creating dishes for my family, like food. I love to see them happy and smile when I cook something and they're like, oh my gosh, mom, make that again. Or when I take somebody something and they really enjoy it, I love to be creative. And I didn't realize that about myself until I started thinking about all the things that I do, like little crafts and little things that I make, earrings and headbands and all the little stuff that I do throughout the years with my daughter and different things like that. I'm like, wow, I like to be creative. And I didn't realize that, you guys. So it's really important for you to just sit down with some paper and pencil, with your notebook, with your journal. Again, y'all know me. If you know me, you know I like journaling. So journaling, I really recommend that you do that. Get your journal and write down some notes. What do I enjoy? What do I love doing? What makes me happy? What brings me joy? How do I bring joy to others? Right? And that is, what God has purposed you to be. Why did God create you? Why are you here? And what an amazing journey that is to be on, to find out why you're here. Why not, right? That's the fun journey to be on. So I encourage you all to do that if you haven't done so already. And so thank you all so much for interacting with me on tonight, making your comments, putting comments in the comment box. If you don't know me, my name is Miranda. This is Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour, and this is Mindful Monday. And I just wanted to encourage you on tonight to have a healthy soul and to give you some steps on being content in order to be in that healthy place and to have a healthy soul. Again, your soul consists of your mind and your will and your emotions. So it's really important that we have a healthy soul. So, number 5, who are you? Again, this leading into who are you? Why were you created? Why are you on this earth? Why? Hi, Mama B. I love you so much. This is my spiritual mother, you guys. She is an amazing woman of God, such a prayer warrior, such an amazing woman. She has really blessed me. I'm going to stop and give her some kudos because since I've been here in Texas, I met her 2 years ago and she has blessed my life. And love her to death. She's so awesome. I have my longtime friend on here, Christy Mays from California. Christy Mays, I love you. You are such a blessing to me, such a great friend. Christy has known me for over 15 years. We were my first counseling job in Yucaipa, California. We worked together at a 9th grade campus, and we've been sister friends ever since, sister from another mother. I love her, and she's such a blessing. So thank you all for joining me on tonight. I love you all. If I don't know you personally, Billy, thank you for being on tonight. And those who are watching, if I don't see your comments, it's nothing personal. I just don't see them. But I love y'all. And I'm so grateful that God is using me for this opportunity to share what He has for me to share. So on tonight, we're talking about who am I, self-reflecting, rediscovering you. And like I mentioned before in the beginning of this conversation, I had to rediscover myself after my divorce. Who is Miranda? Because if you would have asked me back then, Miranda was a wife and a mother. She was a counselor. She was a woman of God. Those were all the things that I really pretty much said I was. I was a sister and a mother, stuff like that. But really, who are you? What does the Bible say? Who does the Bible say you are? I'm priceless. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm bougie, right? I'm bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional and elegant. The world wants to put us in a box, right? The world wants us to be a cheap imitation of someone else. The world wants us to copy off of other people. Like I posted today, we're looking at other people's highlight reels, right? We're looking at their best photos. They take 50 pictures to get the best one. We're looking at that vacation they went on with a bae, but we're not seeing when the car was repossessed. We're not seeing when they had a bad hair day. We're not seeing when they had an anxiety attack. We're not seeing every aspect of that person. But then a lot of us, many of us, base our life off of what we see, the highlight reels of other people, right? So you're like, okay, well, they got it this, their life is perfect, they're blah, 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 right? But their life is just like yours. They have good days, they have bad days. And social media has programmed us where we're glamorizing the good days. We're not seeing the bad days. And of course, who wants to publicize the rough days, right? Who wants to talk about the divorce? Who wants to talk about those things? But a lot of times when we understand that that person's life is not perfect and we can compare our lives to theirs, then I think that will help us to be a better, well-rounded, healthy individual. We have to stay in our own lane. You guys, I can't do what somebody else does. I mean, I can't sew, I can't sing, right? I'm not a preacher. I'm not I can't be what somebody else is. I can't be a praise team leader. I can't be, what she is over there. I can't compare myself to her. I have to stay in my lane. I'm a counselor. I'm an encourager. I'm someone who loves to see people okay. I am big on self-care and mental health because that is the lane that God has placed me in as a counselor. I look at, counseling is my gift and my calling. It is my purpose. It's part of the purpose of why I'm here, because I believe that God has given me the gift to be a good listener, to be empathetic and kind and courteous to people. I love to encourage people and try to help them to come out of whatever they're going through. And that, I believe, that's part of my purpose. But a lot of times we're so busy looking at other people, it robs us of being our best selves, the best version of ourselves, because we're so focused on everything else. All that glitters is not gold, right? That saying that everybody says, all that glitters is not gold. So I want you to ask yourself a question. What are some things that you have always wanted to do but didn't because you were holding or hiding the real you? What are some things that you've always wanted to do but you haven't done because you're scared to step out, because you're worried about what everybody else is going to say, right? If I was worried about what everybody else was going to say, I wouldn't be on here. I was so worried, you guys, back in the past about what people thought about me. Oh, are they going to think I'm pretty? Oh, are they going to think am I too tall? Am I too whatever? Am I too thick? Am I too whatever? Am I too brown? Am I too whatever? Do they like my voice? If I really cared anymore about what everybody thought, I wouldn't be on here, because that's how I lived back in the past. I did live that way. I was so super concerned about what everybody thought about me, what everybody felt about me. Oh, Miranda's this, Miranda's that, instead of just being me, being a little corny, a little quirky, a little funny every now and then, be a little silly, you know what I'm saying? Just being myself and just not worrying about what people are saying. And so I think we need to get to that point where we can love ourselves. Who are you? What would you do if you could just do it and not worry about everybody else, right? I would probably be a fashion model. When I was when I was young, probably like 12, I wanted to be a fashion model because, tall, thin. I was like, oh, I want to be a model. I never did. Oh, I want to be a fashion designer. And if I could do something over again, I probably would go back and just probably do something like that in fashion or in things like that. Because I love fashion. I love, again, elegance, looking nice, presenting myself well. I've always been that type of person. Never wanted to go out the house looking a mess, but every now and then, y'all, I done got a little lazy. Sometimes I don't, anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but wear the sweats and the yoga pants all the time. It's like, okay, I need to put on some jeans or something, put on something else. So I done got a little comfortable. Anyway, pray for me, y'all. I'm praying for y'all. So anyway, who are you, right? Who is the woman, the man that God has created you to be? Number 6, watch your mouth. I am so big on that, you guys, because let me tell y'all something. Yep, Mama B said it best. She said, can't nobody beat you being you, and that is facts. Can't nobody beat you. You have to be your best self. Be the best you can be. And I encourage you to do that. When I was talking about it, watching your mouth, you guys, when I was growing up, my mouth got me in so much trouble. When I tell you I can talk trash, I will shut you down and cut you down to the core of your being. And I don't know, I believe that was my defense mechanism. I believe that's what I used to do. Uh, as a defense mechanism, I would say mean and cruel things. And I would find myself apologizing often because I would let my mouth beat me to, I would let my mouth go before I thought, right? I didn't think about it first. You know how they say, um, think before you speak. I never did that. I just said what I thought. If it come up, it must be something I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say it because it came up, and I was always regurgitating and throwing up bad, toxic things, just destroying. And it was bad for years, even when I was married, just saying stuff, being disrespectful, then honor my husband in many days and being rude and just a mess. And I had to really learn to watch my mouth because your words shape your world. What you say, you're manifesting these things. Oh, I'm negative. That's just how I am. That's just how I grew up. That's just what it is. And that's not what it is. It's unfortunate that our environment constantly shapes us, sometimes to be negative. We use words for defense mechanisms and things like that. But thank you, Christy. I appreciate you. You're beautiful too. I love you. Thank you so much. But my mouth was a defense mechanism for me. I was always saying things like, just being mean for no reason, right? And so I had to learn to be careful and watch my mouth, especially as I had children, was having children and had children, to be careful what I said to them because I'm sowing seeds into their life. I'm sowing seeds into their future. So I had to remember as their mother, I need to speak life into them. I need to speak joy into them. I need to speak prosperity into them. I need to be like, my children are successful. They're going to live a long, prosperous, healthy, anointed life. My children are successful. When my children get on the phone with me, baby, I am their number one cheerleader. I'm like, you're going to be amazing. I tell my son, you're going to be the number one real estate agent on the West Coast. You're going to have billboards off the 15 freeway. They're going to know you in California and Las Vegas. You're going to be selling $1 million homes. I'm going to pump you up. I tell my daughter, you are the prettiest thing. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are a queen. I'm telling my children these things because their words shape their world. What I'm saying to them, it makes a difference. It impacts their lives. And as their mother, I'm going to build them up. And God has built us up in His Word. He has built us up and said that we are amazing. We are beautiful. We are all of that. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are the apple of His eye. We're His beloved. So your words shape your word. Don't dwell on the negative and the things that brought you down. Get on the path of healing. Healing is a process where we understand that, there were some mistakes in the past, there were some bad things that happened, but we don't have to let them rule our lives, right? We don't have to let them define us. So immediately let go of the negative thoughts by replacing them with the words that are positive and encouraging, replacing what the world says with what God says. Find out in His Word, what does He say about you? What does God say about you? And I want you to say declarations every morning, post them on your mirror, post them in your car, put a reminder on your phone. Tell me I'm pretty today. Tell myself I look good today. Tell myself I'm fearfully and wonderfully made today. Tell myself I'm a more than a conqueror today. Tell myself I'm victorious today. Whatever you need to do to pull yourself out of the slump, out of the depression, out of the low place, whatever it takes, do it. Again, like I said, I'm the type of person, I'm writing posters everywhere. I got posters in the bathroom, on my dresser, on my computer. I'm going to remind myself of who I am, what God said, that wisdom is the principal thing, that I am mighty through Christ Jesus, that I am healed by the stripes of Jesus. Whatever I need to say to myself, to encourage myself, I will say those things. And we need to be mindful of that. So write this question down if you're taking notes. What are you thinking about? Are your words reflecting what you want to see? Say what you want to see. Keep saying it until you see it. keep saying it. You're manifesting your future. You're manifesting your life. You're manifesting the life that God created you to have. So keep saying it. If you're thinking negative, if you're speaking negative, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's going to be in your mind. It's going to go through your ears. It's going to be in your mind. It's going to come out of your mouth. So it's just going to be a cycle, a negative cycle. And you don't want that. So I advise you to really reflect and think about what you're saying. And finally, on tonight, as we're talking about having a healthy soul and all of these amazing things, to be able to be the women and men of God that He has created us to be, I encourage you on tonight to do the work. Whatever it takes for you to do the work that it takes for you to be healthy, to be whole, to be a better you, to be the woman or the man of God that He has created you to be. Do the work that it takes because, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, tomorrow you're going to be better. You're going to think better. You're going to be the best. You're going to have to do some work. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to do that is going to, and it's practice makes perfect, right? It's not going to just happen overnight. We have to be like, okay, this is what I need to do to be better. This is what I need to do to be the best me that I could be. And Billy says, this is amazing. I thought I was trash. Really, that's so sad to say, but I saw myself as a bag of trash with maggots in it. And it's so liberating to see myself the way God sees me. Amen, Billy. I'm so grateful. And you see the testimony of how God is able to renew our minds so we can see ourselves the way God sees us. Instead of looking at ourselves as trash, we're looking at ourselves as treasures, right? Um, and my friend Christy from California, you guys, this my home girl. It says, I love the honesty you share and also love your silly, funny self. God loves that. Thank you so much. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Try to be a little silly, every now and then. Me and my kids, my children keep me youthful, you guys. They make me laugh. They are super funny. They just silly and they do things that just keep me happy and joyful and, keep me laughing. And it's just, I don't know, it keeps me youthful. And I'm just grateful for my children. Surround yourself with people that make you happy. Surround yourself with people who make you laugh. It's so awesome just to be able to laugh. Like they said, laughter is good medicine, right? It is, especially during this time, you guys. Laughter is good medicine. Find something funny on TV to watch. I've been watching Girlfriends on Netflix. They got on there the Parkers, Moesha, all these different shows. Find something funny to watch. You know what I am looking forward to seeing? I don't know if you guys watch it, but I do. The Masked Singer. I love that show, or I really like that show. It is so fun. It makes me laugh. It's just super, like just something you get up and dance, all the old songs they play, and just seeing them in their costumes. If you guys don't watch it, check it out. It's going to be coming on soon. But find something funny to laugh. Surround yourself with funny people. Like I said, I think I mentioned this before. Get on Zoom and have a girlfriend party, and just you and your girlfriends get on there and just talk, have a glass of wine, and just enjoy each other's company, and just be like, hey girl, what you been up to? I haven't seen you in years. We can't travel as much as we want to. Let's just really um, reach out to each other and enjoy each other's company. So it's so awesome to just be able to have somebody around you that will make you laugh, that will just have your back. But again, like I said, do the work it takes. Get the help that you need. If you need to go to counseling, again, y'all know I'm a proponent of counseling because I am a counselor. I enjoy helping people. I was speaking to a young man today who was just really struggling with some things. And we ended up, and this is, one of my students, I'm a virtual counselor because, we're virtual schooling, but I was always at a virtual school. But we were on the phone for an hour and I just listened to him and was able to kind of really share some things with him. But he needed someone to talk to and he needed someone to listen to him. And we need to be able to do the work it takes to get the help that we need. So if that means getting on the phone and talking to a counselor, getting on the phone and speaking to a trusted friend, your pastor, someone that you can trust, a spiritual mother or a spiritual covering, an intercessor, whoever you, someone that you can really be yourself with, and let the walls down where you don't have to pretend or fake or be phony and have to, kind of make up stories. You can actually be transparent with that person. And I think I'm thankful that I've been able to do that. And they're not going to judge you, right? They're not that, be that person that, be the answer to someone's prayer. Be that person that someone can go to and they can lean on your shoulder, and you're not going to tell their secrets. You're not going to tell their business. You're not going to tell their flaws. You're not going to talk about them later. Girl, guess what? So and so just called me and told me woo, woo, woo. Don't be that person. Don't be the person that can't be trusted. Don't be the person that if somebody's going through something, you telling all their business all over everywhere, calling this, that one, and the third. Don't do that. Be the answer to someone's prayer. Be the person that someone can go to and say, you know what, I know I can trust her because, or I know I can trust him because they're not going to tell my business. So I am encouraging you to seek the help at your local church or counseling referrals to get additional support that you need. A life, a life of soul health is not just coming, not just a one-time thing. It's daily. I'm talking about having a healthy soul. Having a healthy soul is not just one time. Like I said, you have to do the work. This is a daily walk. Our walk with Christ is daily. This is a lifetime journey. Like they said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And we have to keep going. Commit to a life of staying connected to God. Pray and read your word daily. When you seek to find your identity in Him, your soul is not tainted with the world's view of you. So your world is not toxic and tainted when you're seeking Him for validity. You're not seeking the world for outside stimulation and outside validation. You're seeking God because He's the one that created you. He's the one that created you. So He's the only one that can validate you. So when you know who you are free. You are free. It's freedom to know that I can be myself. It's freedom to know that I can be silly or do whatever. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I don't base my life off of how many likes I have or how many supporters I have. I rather you come into my life because you want to be in my life, not because I'm I'm forcing you. I guess I don't know if you could force somebody to be in your life or because I'm being a bugaboo or whatever the case may be. I want people to be in my life because they want to be. I don't want people to tolerate me. That's what I was looking for. I don't want people to tolerate me. I want people to want to be in my life. And I want the same for other people. I want you to have those genuine connections that I have on here with the women that I've called out, women that I don't even live in the same state with. I don't even live in the same state with some of these ladies. And we are sisters. We love each other and we are there for one another. And the last question I have for you, ask yourself this: what will you do to stay soul healthy? Your mind, your will, and your emotions. What will you do to stay so healthy? What are some steps that you can take? Go back and watch this again if you want. Share it with someone, take some notes, read your Bible, look up in your word. What does the word say about having a healthy soul, being connected to God, having a healthy mindset? Again, self-care is so important, taking the time to just walk away and step aside and say, let me just step away from that right now. It's always good to do that. So I am so grateful for the time that I've had with you all on tonight. I'm super grateful, super thankful. Just for this platform and what God has given me to be able to walk in my purpose. I believe that this is part of my purpose as a counselor. That's my ministry. I would always say um, that I tell my pastor this all the time. I'm not a pastor. I'm not an elder. I'm not this. I'm not that. He be like, Miranda, your ministry is what you're doing. You're counseling. You're encouraging. You're uplifting people. You're not gonna be like everybody else because I'm like, I don't know if I had that personality. I don't know. I think I might say something that's not gonna be okay. So I kind of have again stay in my lane, which is counseling. And I know there are a lot of preachers are not flamboyant. Every preacher's not flamboyant and boisterous. I'm kind of like chill and laid back. So I don't know if people would like that type of preaching style, but again, I don't think I'm a preacher. And I tell him this all the time. And he's like, your ministry is what you're doing, which is counseling. So I'm in my lane, you guys. I'm walking. So I hope you're in your lane. Are you in your lane? What are you doing? Like, are you in the lane that you're supposed to be in? What lane? And do the work that it takes to discover your lane. Get over and get in your lane and be the woman or the man that God has called you to be. I love you too, Billy. Thank you. And she said, I appreciate you. Thank you for the platform. I am grateful to God. To God be the glory. This is God's platform. I give God the glory for this. Again, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be on social media probably. I'd be like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Da-da-da-da-da. But I thank God for this testimony that He's given me to encourage other women that you will be okay. You will come out on the other side with victory and love and healing and peace. And you're going to make it through this. Your heartache and your pain is not going to will not handcuff you to your past. Don't allow your misery or your heartbreak to handcuff you and keep you stagnant, because for so long, you guys, I was stagnant. I was stuck because I was still bitter. I was still angry. I was still hurting from what happened, from my divorce. That's what it was, my divorce. That was my defining moment in my life that caused so much heartache and pain for me, because I was like, oh, how dare he leave me? I'm a good wife. I treat him good. You know what I'm saying? How he gonna leave me? And I had to just really be humble and be like, okay, well, this is what I did in the marriage. This is what I could have done better. But I also had to understand I can't force somebody to love me. I can't force somebody to stay in my life. So him leaving was his choice. But guess what? I did the work to be where I am today. And I'm grateful, you guys, super thankful. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me on Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour on Mindful Monday. I will be back next Monday with some more great information I want to share with you. I'm going to share with you. I'm excited because I shared this on a conference that I spoke at a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to share it with you guys. It blessed me, so I hope it blesses you. And this Friday we have a guest on Her Story, and so join us Friday for our guest on Her Story, and then join us again for Girl Chat and on Sundays. We weren't on yesterday, but here I am today. So thank you guys. Love you. Be blessed. Be safe. Wear your mask, social distance. Y'all don't be out there willy-nilly throwing your mask up in the air talking about your constitutional rights. Cut it out. Stop it. Take care of yourself, because we see that COVID is no respecter of persons, right? So take care of yourself. I'm praying for you all. I hope you're praying for me. Love you all. Have a blessed and great night. See you on Friday. Take care.